we are here. We are here for the final Five Nights at Candy's 3 video. Unless there's like a challenge y'all want me to do or something like that, or ending. But yo, what's good? My name is TXT and welcome to Five Nights at Candy's 3 finale. Now this is going to be the final night. I actually never looked at extras in the second video. Okay, I was gonna say, but there's arcade, so I'm guessing there's stuff that I don't really care about here. But jeez Louise, monsters. Dang, you have Monster Rat and Monster Cat, and there's some stuff here that I can't really press. But all right, let's get into the final night, shall we? The only thing I'm worried about is, oh, why did you return here? This beat is hard. Can I press anything? Oh, press the secret's out. The weight of your guilt has been erased. So why did you return here? I don't know. I guess she wanted me to confront the problem. Me. The problem? I didn't realize what I had done until I was in my bed about to sleep. I was never able to think clearly again. I don't even know if it still would have happened if you hadn't been there. But you were there. You saw it. And now the truth has come out. And my life ends. It will never be like before. I had everything. And then you took it away. And you don't get to walk away from what you've done to me. You ruined my life. And now I will make sure you'll never be able to sleep again. There! You got to lock all the way in. Alright. You didn't hear that little jump? Let's lock all the way in. Let's come on. From what I know, this character is crazy. I don't know anything really about him, but I know he's very quiet. Alright, lock in. I know there's no cat or anything like that, right? I don't know what that was, but I don't know. Hello. Hello. He's moving. He's moving. Hello. I can't move because. Hello? Oh, he's weaving me, but I'm still able to keep on. Come here. Yeah, so this exact same thing happens not once. This is probably the most deaths I've had in Five Nights at Candy's in general. Not once. Now I get through pretty far through here. I get to about 2 a.m. I think 3 a.m. is my real record, but anything after that, bro, I literally just lost immediately. This is the second one. This is the fourth one. This is the 5th one. This is the 6th one. This is the 7th one. I think I'm good here. Nope. This is the 8th. This is the 8th one. This is the 9th one. I literally lose this. All 55 minutes of this, I literally lose. So at this point, I was like so over it, to the point where I was like, I'm just start being philosophical. Okay, my game, I'm including like lazy on, but I was like, I might as well get philosophical here because I'm just not going to win. So, yeah, that's just really all I have to say. But geez Louise, this was the hardest night I have ever, literally ever played against or played in my entire life. So if you want to, hear my philosophical details, go ahead and listen. But yeah, see ya. I'm done, bro. I got to 2 a.m. I'm so over at this point, bro. I'm so over it. I'm literally so over it, bro. One more try, man. I've tried a lot. I've tried at least like 20 times. I've gotten at least 20 minutes. At least 20 minutes of just like repetitive, just over and over again. Which I'm not really mad at because it's content, but regardless, I don't like losing, just in general. Nobody really likes losing like that. And not because I don't really want to be like prideful. It's just, it doesn't feel, no, losing will never feel right. You know what I mean? Everybody knows that. Like, regardless, you can't really be like, well, maybe, no, just in general. We can all agree that losing doesn't feel good. But, it's a part of learning. And, people always lose, And how much just, I don't know what that was, but everybody loses, so just, it gives your brain more practice. Think of losing as practice instead of like actual losing, because if you think of it as losing, then that means you're going to think of something else as losing, and then something else you think of as losing, and then all this losing is going to get to your brain. Same thing as guilt. Guilt is something that is good yet bad for you at the exact same time. Because yes, you should absolutely have it, not answering a question. But at some points in time, right, it gets very, very hard for the mind, right, to like kind of perceive something else other than guilt sometimes, right? For example, right, when you do something that is guilty, or you blame yourself for something, that's another situation right there. Blaming yourself for stuff. When you blame yourself for stuff, it just never goes good. Just in general. Don't get wrong. Take pride in it, right? Don't know how I even lost there. Take pride in, guilt and, well, not pride, but take accountability, not pride. I meant that's what I was trying to say. Accountability in messing up. That's just in general. Just in everyday life, you just gotta understand that. You know what I mean? So, regardless of whatever, right? If you take accountability of it, and you're like, I messed up, that's on me, right? You're gonna be like, okay, all right, well, that's this. You know what I mean? That's on me. But if you're like, this is my fault, this is all my fault, you're gonna think when something else happens, it's gonna be your fault. And then it starts to get to a point where it's like, you're gonna blame yourself for everything. And it's just in general. Same thing as like getting better at YouTube, right? Or getting better at editing. At one point, you're gonna feel discouraged, right? Everybody does, you know what I mean? I felt discouraged a lot, you know what I mean? Obviously with school and stuff like that. So obviously my, my times and all that stuff is going to be, garbo. But regardless of the state or the state of the matter, like regardless, blaming yourself for a lot of stuff kind of gets rid of that, like, understanding, you know what I mean? When you don't really understand something, or you blame yourself for something that happened years prior or years ago, that idea is going to stay in your head for, as I said, years and years. Because even when you could be the smartest person in the world, if you messed up one time, regardless of what you did, it wouldn't matter how much stuff you've done. It just wouldn't help you out, you know what I mean? Same thing with this guy, right? Or same thing with the character we're playing. She's put a lot of guilt and, like, blame on herself, and it messed her like ideas, thoughts, like memories, everything. Like, it messed her up. Which makes sense, because, like, if you see a two dead people, you're not really gonna be like, oh, okay, you know what I mean? You're not gonna be like a chill guy or like a chill girl. You're gonna be like, yo, oh my, you know what I mean? That's how that's usually gonna be it. So even though, yeah, it was your fault, if you blame yourself for it long enough, it's going to turn into, like, your fault, into you did this. You're the reason this happens. And that will mess up your psyche real easy. Same thing with, like, relationships, right? Some people can be in a relationship for years and years and years and years and years to come. When they break up, or they what's the word? Unmarry. I think that's the word for it. I don't remember. But when they do that, they feel like it's almost weird to not have somebody with me. You know what I mean? Same thing with, like, not understanding something, you know what I mean? Like, you understand it, but you don't really understand it, right? Like, for example, let's say your teacher gives you a math test, but you haven't been to school for years, you know what I mean? And it's like a college grade math test. You know what I mean? Or let's say you're like 40, 50, 90 or something like that. You work a 9 to 5 or whatever, and there's a very good chance you've forgotten a gigantic amount of math in any type of situation. You know what I mean? You went to college, done all this stuff, and blah, 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 right? Even though, yes, I don't know how I even lost that. Even though, yes, you technically know everything on that test and everything, right? You still are going to forget stuff, because in those years, 20, 30 plus years later, you're not going to remember all that. You're not going to. Same thing with relationships. You're going to, by the way, I've never been in a relationship a day in my life, so I could definitely be wrong, so I'm sorry for that. But you're going to be like, okay, well, obviously some people are. Okay, well, I've been in a relationship my entire dang near for 5 years, 5+ years, you know what I mean? And when we broke up, dang it, darn you, Dr. Doofenshmirtz, when we broke up, it felt like I wasn't right. You know what I mean? Some people can't go without somebody else. You know what I mean? Think of it as like self-hatred. Obviously not self-hatred, obviously, but self-doubt. I think that's a good word for it. where you think like, or some people think like, or even you, well, I'm supposed to be, you know, I'm supposed to be with somebody. I don't. Why am I not? Why am I? What am I doing? But then situations like that can get you in a bad spot, like a bad ideal predicament, where your mind is more like focused on getting with somebody and not the someone. You know what I mean? So I lost. Yeah. I'm dead, bro. Yeah, I'm dead. But you know, that's that type of feeling shouldn't be, obviously what I said before, shouldn't be I need to get someone. It should be you need to get with the one, the someone you know that is like, I could marry again, or I could date again, or anything of that nature. You know what I mean? And even though I've never been in a relationship a day in my life, I can still understand to some degree from, you know, older people's side that thoughts and ideas are obviously different, all different, but also the same, because even if you're like, oh, blah 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 blah, I don't need anybody. I mean, yeah, you technically don't need anybody, but you want somebody as a friend, as a companion, as whatever. You know what I mean? But that was my little rant done. I died like 15 different times right there, but yeah. Then I was 55 minutes long, man. I think I ranted for like a good like 20 minutes. I'm sorry for that, but that was extraordinarily hard. I think it was just down to nerves. Sorry if my mic is picking up a lot, but I think it was just, hold on 1 second. I have to turn off my fan. I think it was just down to nerves most of the time, that it was like hard, right? Like obviously if I learned his patterns and, you know, which way he circles and when he's like, when he kind of stops or when he might circle around the other way, I could beat him. You know what I mean? But obviously future me or future self or whoever comes back to this, if you can get this to like 100 likes and blast, and I mean blast, my comments with like, play this, play this, play this, play this, play, not play this, play this, play this. Yeah, well, actually, no, play Final Fantasy Candies 3 Final Night, play Final Fantasy Candies 3 Final Night, play Final Fantasy Candies 3. Do it over and over and over and over and over again. Do it again and again and again. And I'll do it. Absolutely, I'll do it. But yeah, I think that's really all I have to say. 95% of that was probably just ranting, but keep it. You know what I mean? ET, keep that in. But like honestly, the things, even though I've never been in a relationship, I am still a W. I am still a W counselor or idealist, or I don't know. I know there's some word for it, but I don't know. But yeah, but if you're feeling those type of ways, definitely think it through and you know, do the things and whatever, and find the person you want, or stop thinking, like stop guilt tripping yourself, or better yet, stop blaming yourself. If you blame yourself, as I said before, it's like a downward slope. It's never going to get better when you blame yourself. Blaming yourself and taking accountability are like two different hands. Yes, they can get close and, you know, be a relationship wise, but if you let one of those hands start to fall and fall and fall and fall, that guilt and blaming turns into self envy, I guess. And when you bring one up too much and not blame yourself for stuff, that then turns into pride, self pride. So you have to kind of try your best to balance it. Don't get me wrong, sometimes you're not going to think you're in the wrong. So obviously accountability is going to start going up. But same thing with blaming and guilt tripping. It's a plateau. You know what I mean? Don't think that's the word for it, but it's a it's a something. All right, it's a something. I almost just started beatboxing again, but it's something. Take that with y'all, older audience or younger audience, even then. Take that with y'all. Understand it, and kind of keep it as a way. Keep it. But have a blessed day. Hope both side pillows are freezing cold. And I trust you hit that like button. Ooh, wait, that's a W idea. Hope you have a blessed day. Hope both side pillows are freezing cold. And I trust you hit that like button. Peace!